Hiya, welcome to my Compound Life. I'm your host, Jonathan. This is a channel where we build asset, we build habits, and of course we build freedom. That will be financial freedom, time freedom for you and me and anyone else that watches my channel. So please remember to hit the like, hit subscribe. That will really help me out as I'm a small content creator. Even if you don't like my content, just hit like just for the sake of it, to show some support. Yeah, please hit the like. Anyway, what do I want to talk about today? I want to talk a little bit about Bitcoin and more of the speculation, because by the way, I make daily video for Bitcoin. So if this is your first time watching, if you like Bitcoin, if you DCA or pound cost average into Bitcoin, you have strong conviction on Bitcoin asset and you want to hodl it for long term, you love my video. Okay, so hit the like, hit subscribe, and follow my daily content on Bitcoin. So I want to chat about Bitcoin because specifically, I think this week, by the time market open, things may look ugly in the short term, but potentially it can be a good setup for a longer term bullishness for Bitcoin, right? So obviously this week I reckon it will look pretty ugly because FOMC meeting, everyone's already priced in, no rate cut. Japanese carry trade, I think not looking good. But at the same time, for longer term, I reckon for longer term, if the US steps in, right? If the US steps in, they start to buy Japanese yen, right, and stabilize a little bit and essentially make the dollars weakened. Okay, I think that will be bullish for Bitcoin. However, such bullishness not gonna be a week or 2 weeks, right? Because it usually needs to flood in that people get more comfortable. I mean, number one, people need to be aware that dollars, debased tremendously, right? The value of dollars debased. And then at the same time, people will probably need to pivot out from their asset and then be a little bit more how do I say it, growth hungry or risk hungry, and at the same time there should be sufficient amount of liquidity still in the system. That's through a lot more quantitative easing in order for them to buy more stocks and shares, equity market, to lift up the US equity market first, and then eventually some of this may cascade down to Bitcoin, right? So personally, I kind of see, okay, maybe this would be the time when gold top. I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud, right? Because a lot of, the reason for gold to get to another all-time high, or metal to get another all-time high. So gold hit 5,100, silver hit around 105, I believe, per ounce. I felt that a lot of this was to do with uncertainty because of the Japanese government bond, the Japanese carry trade unwind, and the uncertainty of the US tariffs with Greenland, with Canada, right? So at least for the tariffs, it does seem it's kind of like a tactic that President Trump deploys every now and then just to have it his way, right? But at the same time, if we just purely talking about the carry trade unwind, it happened before, right? And I think a lot more traders, a lot more investors, a lot more institutions that borrow from the cheap Japanese yen, I'm sure they have protocol to ensure that, you know what, they're not going to get tremendously dragged down because of the Japanese carry trade unwind. And if US does step in, right, buying more Japanese yen, I reckon this volatility or this outcome for Bitcoin to continue to go lower can eventually or essentially become a V-shaped recovery, right? Let me know in the comment section what do you guys think too, right? Because I'm thinking all of this bearishness set up at present, and even the government shutdown, you know, it's gonna force the tightening of liquidity, you know, for a short period of time. You know, the last time we had at least 6 weeks to about 2 months worth of shutdown, and look at the Bitcoin price, right? So I reckon we could be trending lower potentially, and even with a government shutdown we can get even lower, right? Although there's a lot of saying that clarity bill will get another discussion, I think tomorrow. And in Davos, I think President Trump already hinted that, you know what, he wants to get that crypto clarity bill going ASAP. But to be frank, I think that too many stakeholders involved. I don't personally see this moving anytime faster. I don't personally think we'll get any clarity at all until maybe June or July time. So the immediate thing that will be bearish will be, you know, rate cut, more Japanese carry trade unwind, some companies, you know, get shut down, some companies get blown up because of too much exposure on Japanese carry trade, and then followed by the US government shutdown. So I think this will be the immediate macro items, events that will immediately drag us down for Bitcoin, maybe for 1 to 2 weeks, and then followed by a V-shaped recovery, right? So let me know in the comment section if you think it will be a V-shaped recovery soon, or is this the gray swan or the black swan that brings Bitcoin down to a bear market, and then we have that bottom sometime in November. So let me know in the comment section, you know, what do you guys think, or if you have alternate thoughts of what could possibly play out, let me know in the comment section too, right? Because it's always good to hear from all of you guys. Yeah, so let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.